Thank you for joining us again and welcome back to our channel. If you are joining for the first time, I appreciate your time. It is important to note that there is a trend going on across the continent of Africa, especially with regards to the countries in the Sahel. But more importantly, Uganda of all has come out clear and said it's sweeping and cleaning its streets from colonial names. It is important that this is not new. We've seen that across Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, including Chad. A number of these countries are taking a stand against colonialism. It is important to know that Uganda has a long-standing history. It's one of those countries that fought the colonial powers that actually were in that particular country centuries ago. It is vital to understand that African nations understand the impact of colonialism, how it is transformed and impacted their economy from their own particular integration and collaboration. Uganda says that it really wants to move forward to charter a new part in its history, and by taking such a move, it sends a clear indication that to an extent, a number of African social groups are putting a number of pressure, huge pressure to their government, who are beginning to listen to them in a number of areas. Why is this important? It is important because we're seeing a lot of changes in the global community, and some countries that were not thinking of particular issues like this. It is about time for them to identify themselves with regards to their history. It will enable them to understand their particular historical formation, what happened and why it has street name in this particular way. If Uganda takes such a measures, it is about time that other countries of Africa will start looking into it.
The court order to have streets, statues and public places renamed has many wondering which local historical figures will take their place. The campaigners say it's a new dawn for Uganda and a chance to recognize people who have done wonderful things for the country and Africa. Campaigners say it's the culmination of a long struggle.
We think that it could have been a lot firmer in terms of specifically identifying the names and the places that need to be removed within a certain time frame. But it was a general order which the court made, but it's a good start. In other parts of the world, these names have been removed violently by the public. We chose to take the civil route.
Elsewhere in Africa, many statues have been defaced and removed to try and erase dark colonial memories, but that's not been the case in Uganda. Across Uganda, many colonial monuments remain untouched except where it requires for paving way for a road construction. But campaigners here say the faster these colonial names are taken down, the better for a break from the past.
It is important to know that African nations have talked about the impact of colonialism in their own society. Why this is important? Because it affects their language, their culture, a number of things that happened over the years. Uganda fought its way with regards to its colonial history that we all know. Uganda is an important country in East Africa and across the African bloc itself. The current president of the country of Uganda is one of those leaders that will, to an extent, each time he makes his speeches, will talk about the colonial impact in the countries of the sub-Saharan Africa, looking at Southern Africa. The current president of the country of Uganda was one of those students who, based on his own communication over the years, have talked about SWAPO, have spoken about the apartheid issues in South Africa. He's talked a lot. And for this particular decisions to be made or be taken during his tenure of office, it means that this particular trend across the Sahel is something that is blowing heat waves across the continent of Africa. Why is this important? It might give some of these countries a sense of belonging, a sense of understanding, a sense of togetherness, a sense of a particular formation, and more importantly, sense of nationalism and to rally behind the flag.
The campaign was sparked by the murder of George Floyd in the U.S. in 2020. The global Black Lives Matter movement prompted the widespread tearing down of symbols linked to colonial history.
People like Harry Johnston and Gerald Porto, and the list is quite big. we felt that these didn't deserve the kind of honor or respect or glory which is attributed to them by naming main streets and public places after their names.
City authorities say they will respect the court's decision and are already taking steps to enforce the ruling. The City Council guidelines on naming roads requires wide consultations from communities that come up with suitable names before they are approved.
It is a very community-driven initiative, except in some instances where the council, in its wisdom, and say parliament, decide that, you see, there is a prominent person, there is a prominent activity, there is something that we need to have memorable, and they name a road.
Campaigners will now wait patiently for the manifestation of this legal ruling on the streets and hope it can bring a new sense of pride and belonging to the Ugandan people. Isabel Nakiria, CGTN Kampala, Uganda.
Naming their own street according to their own heroes will give them a clear picture that the people and citizens and young people growing up in these countries can start believing in their nation, that there were great people that fought for their own history. There were great people that fought and put their lives on the line to get them to where they are today. It is vital to know that the continent of Africa is experiencing some tremendous changes as we see what's happening across the Sahel region. Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger have moved swiftly to close their streets in terms of colonial names. We've seen that most recently, the country of Senegal, that in particular have mentioned that there were huge avenues in the country of Senegal that were named over people who were not from that particular region based on media information. However, the current president of the country of Senegal, Mr. Bassirou Diomaye Faye, has come out clear to say that it's about time for them to charter a new part in their history. We have seen the current Prime Minister of the country of Senegal, Mr. Sonko, talk about the importance of making sure that Africa identify, in particular Senegal, to strip itself from colonial relations, especially with the country of France. That's the reason why the trends happening at the moment to the country of Uganda is not new. It's something that, to an extent, is just reverberating across the continent of Africa. We all see how France, the former colonial master of those countries in West Africa, Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea, and also including Senegal and Chad, Gabon, Cameroon, including Togo, and the darling of all, Ivory Coast, have to an extent asked France to withdraw and close down in military bases or hand them over to those countries themselves. The colonial relationship to an extent is not working at all based on current challenges that these countries face, according to the president of Chad. These are challenging times in the continent of Africa's history, and it's important that Uganda has taken that stand also, and we're going to be seeing on how this plays out in historical formation. I want to thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section if you think Uganda has taken a stand and what is the reason why Uganda has waited all these years to make the decision at this particular time. Was this decision triggered as a result of what's happening in the Sahel, or do you think that the country of Uganda has come to the realization that it's about time to identify and connect itself in its own history? I will be looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Smash the like button and share the video, and have a good day. Bye-bye.